So I recently went over all the best burst 1 and best burst 2 characters in the game. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is focusing on the best burst 3 units in the game. These are units that will essentially help you guys with clearing harder content, help you guys deal extra damage in solo raid, union raid, and overall some of the best DPS characters in the game. So I'm pretty sure you guys know for burst 1 characters, they are usually our supportive units in terms of just overall giving us heals or increasing our damage. Our second or burst 2 characters are primarily like a defense units, but also have a bit of like buffing in terms of helping us deal with more damage. And then when it comes to our burst 3 characters, they are usually our main DPS characters. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over the best DPS units. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more content on Nikke, Goddess of Victory. Go ahead and watch my previous video on all the best burst 1s and best burst 2 characters as well. And if you guys don't want to miss out on future content on the game, make sure that post notification is on, and let's get right into it. So best burst 3, once again, if you see the characters are in the synchro device, so they have their leveled up, or they are leveled up, sorry, they are some of the best burst 3 characters in the game. So if they're not in the synchro, they are not really the best or most used characters in the game. Now, as you guys can see, that I am technically missing one OP character in the game, and yeah, it is Scarlet. I am missing the OG Scarlet, and yeah, unfortunately I just don't have her, but obviously you already know she is definitely a top tier burst 3 character as well. If you have her, congratulations. Me and Xiox are still currently crying because we still don't have this unit, but it is what it is. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the other burst 3 characters in the game that we need to focus on. Now, no doubt about it, you guys already know why Red Hood is #1 best burst 3 character in the game. She does insane DPS. Most of her damage are front loaded as well, so immediately she goes into her burst, every single one of her shots will deal insane damage that will help you guys clear content as fast as possible. And then obviously you know that you can actually use her for your burst 1, burst 2, or burst 3 at the same time, so it's actually pretty cool. If you guys want to invest into her, I highly recommend you guys do that. So no doubt about it, Red Hood is definitely one of the best burst 3 characters in the entire game. Now, as you can see, I've actually recently started working on Alice, and yeah, I usually didn't actually, sorry, that made no sense. I didn't actually use this character. This is a character that is actually very strong, but I never actually built, but she's actually an amazing DPS character. The main issue with her is that you need to invest into her a lot, and if you guys are worried about or wondering which skill you want to prioritize, then the skill 1 and the burst skills are your main priority. And you essentially with the overload as well, you're trying to make sure the charge speed is also what you want to focus on, but elemental damage is also pretty good. Attack buff is also pretty good. What else is also good? Max ammo capacity is also pretty good as well. So it is going to be very hard to get all the best best buffs from the overload gears, but it's going to take you a lot of resources. But she's absolutely an amazing DPS character. I've only started building her up right now, but I definitely like using her. Next up, we have Modernia, already one of the best Pilgrim character, best burst 3 character in the game as well. If you guys are trying to clear endgame, you definitely need a Modernia, and she recently got a banner. She's one of the few reruns we've actually had in the entire game, and I'm so happy they actually released a rerun for her, because she is a character that helps you guys clear content that you really shouldn't be able to clear, but she's absolutely insane. So yeah, definitely one of the best burst 3s in the game. And then obviously the new Scarlet as well is also pretty OP as well. Now in the Pilgrim Tower, when you're trying to build a team, it's actually better to use Red Hood, Modernia, and Black Shadow. And then for your burst 1, you would use Dorothy, and then for your burst 2, you don't even have to use Nihilista. You actually can use Noah, and it actually works extremely well. So you have 3 amazing DPS, and Scarlet actually helps deal a huge amount of damage, and she also has some great AoE supportive skill as well, and it actually really works. So definitely a very strong DPS character. I know she's not as broken as Red Hood, but if you take her in certain content, especially against bosses, she actually shines extremely well as well. We have Privity as well. I wouldn't say she's like the best 3, but don't get me wrong, she's actually absolutely useful, especially if you take her into PvP. That AoE stun is actually pretty good. She's also a great supportive character as well, with her skill 1 helping with the attack buff, reload speed, max ammo capacity decrease, which actually helps certain characters. For example, Dorothy. So burst 1 Dorothy needs reduced ammo capacity, as well as another top tier burst 3 character in the game known as Anis Sparkling. She's also pretty good as well for DPS, and prioritize having lower lower ammo capacity as well. So Privity, great supportive character as well. You use her in certain teams. You don't always use her in every single team, because that max ammo capacity debuff technically doesn't work for every unit, but she's actually very, very strong. And Drake as well, she kind of fell off a little bit, but I use her as my main supportive DPS, but she has the ability to help with hit rate and attack buff as well, and then a max ammo capacity as well. Pretty good for PvP as well. But I actually stopped using her quite recently as well, because we just got so many burst 3 characters in general that actually works extremely well. But don't get me wrong, Drake is also a top tier DPS character, and obviously I briefly mentioned her, but Anis is insane, absolutely insane. She has the potential to deal one of the really OP damage, especially against the so she's an electric code character against who is it specifically? I've forgotten, but specifically, okay, where is it? To water type enemies. So if she's going against water type enemies, she does insane amount of damage against them. Amazing DPS. She is a limited character, so unfortunately for you guys, if you guys missed out on her banner, you have to wait an entire year before you can actually get her again. But she's actually insane. We have Maxwell as well, one of the best 3 characters in the game that I actually didn't build until quite recent. Even though she's been in the game since day 1, I just didn't really want to build her. But hey, as you can see, I've started building her up. More resources will need to be put into her, but she's actually pretty strong as well. She primarily does insane amount of damage from her burst skill, quite similar to Snow White as well. We also have 2B. Like I said, there's a lot of really strong burst 3 characters, because they are the most interesting type of characters in the game, because they are primarily our main DPS unit. So 2B is actually pretty good as well. Her burst skill is like a huge AoE damage as well. She scales off her HP. I feel like in the future, if we get more characters that buff up HP, she actually will get stronger and stronger. But right now, she's just like a really top tier DPS character, but not the best in the entire game. But in the future, maybe we'll get a supportive character that would help her out insanely well. We got Helm as well. Now, the thing with Helm is you don't always need her. I think the best place you would ever use Helm is like solo raid, when you need heals. And if you don't have like a burst 1 or burst 2 heal, you can actually use Helm. But Helm definitely makes you lose out on your damage, because she's a burst 3 character, and like I mentioned, burst 3s are your main DPS, but she actually doesn't work for her DPS. You use her for her heals with her burst. So it's only when you require Helm that you will actually use her. So you don't always need her, but she's actually pretty strong as well. And we also have Laplace, also pretty good as well. Most of her DPS are from her unique burst ability as well, but she's actually pretty strong. And then Snow White, an insane character as well. Her damage is from her burst skill as well. You definitely want to get this as high as possible so she can do insane amount of damage. There's a specific team you can run with Snow White that just allows you to like nuke the bosses. She's also like a strong character that I didn't actually build, but I've only started building her up as well. So I'm gonna need a lot of resources to actually start using her. We have A2 as well. I prefer A2 to 2B. I think A2 is slightly better than 2B, but I've actually stopped using A2 since I have other like top tier burst 3 characters to use. But she does have a really strong ability. We have Noir, and obviously she pairs well with Blanc. And if you're running Noir, you don't necessarily need to run Blanc, but if you're running Blanc, you absolutely need to run Noir. She's used for her buffing capabilities with the attack buff, maximum capacity, and the reload. You actually don't want her to burst because her burst ability isn't that strong. And then we also have a new character like Lord Miller, who's also an insane DPS character. Limited units, so once again, if you didn't pull for her now, you have to wait an entire year before you can actually pull her. But she's definitely insane for solo raid and union raid. So yeah, Snow White, I wouldn't say she's the best. Her run, she kind of fell off as well. Since I've mentioned a lot of really strong burst 3 characters, I don't think it's really worth mentioning her run, but she's definitely a strong character in campaign as well, but falls off later on. You rarely use her, honestly, I can't lie. Sugar as well, you rarely use her as well. She does have great buffs, but like shotgun teams kind of died down a bit, that you don't actually use her anymore. Guillotine is very strong, but you need to invest into her. You'd only use Guillotine in like solo raid or Union raid. She's not like the best burst 3 character in the game, but against bosses she's actually pretty strong. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for all the best burst 3 characters in the game. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of really strong burst 3 characters. If you want to replace your current burst 3, the next character that comes out has to deal insane amount of damage from there. But you will notice that most of the best burst 3 characters are like Pilgrim characters or limited units. It is what it is, that's all I can say. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. In terms of like the top 5 best burst 3, it's definitely going to be Red Hood, the normal Scarlet, Alice, Modernia, Sparkling Anise, I guess I would say, maybe even Shadow. This character, Scarlet Black Shadow, would also be included. Depending on what you have. But yeah, oh, definitely Snow White against like bosses, she shines. Anyways, that is it regarding the list for all the best burst 3s. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more content on Nikke Goddess of Victory. It's been your boy AC Gamer, and I'm out.